Back in Tempe, Arizona, where we've actually had a very good football game here in the first half. Arizona and Detroit all knotted at 14 apiece at the break. Kurt Menefee along with Ray Bentley. DJ Johnson's on the sideline. And first of all, your general perspective of this game. You come in, and these are two teams desperate for a win, and both played like it in the first half.
Well, I think you said it's a well-played football game so far. I think you've seen great execution on offense, in particular both quarterbacks doing very well on third downs, and it's just been a very good played first half. I'm looking forward to the second half. And you know, the Detroit Lions, let's take a look at them and some of their success on offense. You got Johnny Morton here catching one outside, and a nice gain, a nice read by Charlie Batch. Now here's Batch going again, this one to Bert Emanuel. Now they hand the ball up the middle to Mount Warren with a nice run. And then this is Corey Schlesinger. He gets pay dirt early on, and then here's the second touchdown. David Sloan catching the play action pass from Charlie Batch. And this offense has really hit stride. I think they picked it up from where they left off last week against Tampa Bay in the second half, and they've rolled pretty good here in this first half. No 3 and outs.
Exactly. Charlie Batch has done an excellent job of spreading it around, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs, everybody getting involved. Similar story for Arizona, except, as always, it always falls on the shoulder of Jake Plummer, who played like Jake in the first half, got down early, got to bounce back.
Yeah, he's been back and forth a little bit. Early on, he got a lot of pressure put on him. Here he is getting sacked, and then this one a little pressure late, but just a bad high throw, and that was intercepted by Light. Then he took a couple of lumps. He gets hit there. The first one by Green, the second one by Forshea. How does he answer? Comes back and throws this touchdown pass to David Boston. So, you know, Jake Plummer answered it after taking all those hits, and both quarterbacks, I think, have done outstanding here in the first half.
Well, you see the numbers very similar in their completion percentage and the yards. The touchdown, Plummer does have the one interception, which led to that second touchdown by the Detroit Lions. But you talk about similarities. Check them out on third down. Both these quarterbacks perfect. 5 for 5 for Batch, 4 for 4 for Plummer.
Incredible, and this is where both of these teams struggled coming in. Arizona was making just 1 out of 3 third down conversions. Detroit, they were worse than that. They were at 31%. So for these guys to perform on third down, I think that's why you've seen sustained drives, and that's why you've seen good production on offense.
The Cardinals come out with a 95-yard scoring drive. You responded with 2 magnificent scoring drives of your own. Then late in the half.
So both of them ready to go here in the second half. Charlie Batch and Jake Plummer. And Plummer will get the first shot as the Cardinals will receive to start this second half.
Larry Foster. You see him in on special teams, and of course Arizona will receive first, but we do want to mention that Desmond Howard, who's been a weapon so much for the Lions on special teams this year, hurt himself on the opening kickoff and is out for the rest of the game. Looks like they said his return doubtful. He has not been back in since. Taking a look at the halftime stats.
Man, it's really even. I mean, all these numbers are very even across the board. Look at the pass yards are within 4 of each other. Total yards within 19, and both teams doing well on third down conversions.
Arizona receives to start the second half. Marte Jenkins at the 10. Nice return of 29 yards all the way out to the 39. During the break, our DJ Johnson had a chance to talk to the Cardinals head coach, Dave McGinnis.
Coach, coming into this game, we knew both you guys had plenty of talent, but sometimes you shoot yourselves in the foot. After this half, what'd you go in and tell your team?
Well, I mean, we've taken some pretty good shots from them as far as coming back from the turnover. We've got it back to 14. Our offense has been moving the ball. We're going to need to take this first kickoff and get down there and do something with it. Then we've got to be able to cover them. They're throwing the ball all over the lot on us. We got to be able to cover them, DJ.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. All right, back up to you guys.
All right, DJ. Well, on the return, Scott Kołakowski, the special teams ace for the Lions for so many years, slow to get up.
Colo's been nursing a knee where he ruptured a bursa sac against the Minnesota Vikings, but I don't think that's the case here. I think he just got the cobwebs knocked a little bit. And there you see it late in that fray, Colo got hit on top of the head, and I think that's what it was. He got a little sense knocked out of him. Right here, you're going to see he gets kneed right in the head. And so I tell you, I've been kneed in the head. That helmet will protect you, but only to a certain extent. You're probably thinking, yeah, you've been kneed in the head quite a few times.
That explains a lot.
Thank you very much.
Cardinals began right at the 40-yard line. Michael Pittman in the backfield. Gets the carry. Met by Barrett Green after a pickup of a yard, maybe two.
That's a great job of patience from Barrett Green. He was a backside linebacker on that play. Stayed home and let everything just flow back into him, and then made a solid hit.
Green, a guy who's brought some speed to this Lion defense, starting in place of Stephen Boyd, who went out with a back injury for the last 5 games.
And that, of course, moved Claiborne into the middle,
right
where he plays.
Play action. Steve Bush, and Bush gets the first down. We send it down to the sidelines and DJ Johnson for some injury updates.
Hey, guys, Ron Rice was taken off the field earlier, and it was a very, very scary moment. I had a chance to walk along Ron as he was being taken in. He was conscious, talking to his trainers, moving both his arms and his legs. They took him in for x-rays. The x-rays were negative, which is good. He's been taken to a local hospital for a precautionary MRI. And also, Thomas Burke is still questionable, but unlikely. Back up to you.
All right, thanks a lot for the updates, DJ. Michael Pittman with a strong run of about 10 yards.
Pittman hit the hole so quick and so hard that he broke arm tackles at the line of scrimmage, and that's running right at the rookie Barrett Green, which I think their second-year man Barrett Green, but that's what you need to do with Green's speed. Run right at him. Don't run away from him where he can use the speed to catch you. Run right at him and overpower him.
Well, that's what you get with Michael Pittman in there instead of the first-round pick from last year, Thomas Jones, a guy who runs hard, sometimes too hard. He's already given himself 2 concussions this year and 3 in his last 7 games played, but the effort is what they like.
Right, you can't tell him don't run so hard.
Gets the carry again on first down. Stopped. Chris Claiborne catches him right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe picked up a yard on the play.
Claiborne does a nice job of just staying inside out. Here's Claiborne. He's going to step up and make this play. This is what a middle linebacker should do. See, don't commit early. Now you see it, and step right into the hole and meet the running back. That's perfection by Claiborne, who was an outside linebacker until Boyd got hurt, and they moved him back in there, and he likes that spot. He'd just soon be in the middle.
I think he plays better as a middle linebacker, which is what he did at USC. Jake Plummer all kinds of time. Gets it out to Michael Pittman, who can't make the catch.
And you see Alan Aldridge shaking his head. Nobody was fooled by that play action, and Aldridge had the coverage on Pittman, and he didn't bite on the play action, so he had, again, good coverage, and Plummer really had to essentially throw that away.
Well, you see how they've been on third downs today. On 3rd and 7 or more, 3 for 3. It's a 3rd and 9 situation. They've got to get it to the 28 for the first down. Plummer escapes again. He gets it downfield. Pass intended for Marte Jenkins, but broken up nicely by Kurt Schultz.
And Plummer had something on the front side, but he just got scrambled out. He had to scramble because of the pressure from Detroit. But you get the stack route right here where you got 3 out in the same spot. And I think we're open. I think Sanders was open, but he wasn't able to get it to him because of the pressure. And now he's got to throw it away again and throw it out of bounds. So the Cardinals had the punt.
Chad Stanley set the punt to Larry Foster. Goes over his head. Down inside the 1, but was he on the goal line?
He was.
Yeah, he kind of straddled it a little bit. 37 yards on the punt. David Barrett couldn't keep it this side of the goal line, so it'll be a touchback. Lions will begin at the 20, their first possession of the second half in a 14-14 ball game. Well, the rush yards for the Detroit Lions, something that they've kind of gotten used to. Only 22 in the first half. They've had 62 or fewer in the last 4 games without James Stewart. You see, since the merger, no team's gone 5 straight with 62 or less. Nice catch there by Lamont Warren.
Well, that lack of running game has yet to hurt Detroit, but I'm telling you, if you don't get it going at some point, it will hurt you in this ballgame. It'll come back to haunt them because now Arizona, they aren't allowing the run. You gear up and you play the pass, and you have a better chance of taking that away.
Pickup of 3 on the catch by Warren. End around. Larry Foster on the reverse. And Arizona not fooled by that. He's only going to get 3 yards. Raynaud Thompson with the tackle.
And Baron Tanner was the guy who was in the backfield and got the first hand. And here's Tanner. You're going to see him kind of flop around. But here comes the reverse. We're going to take it around this way. You got both linemen pulling over there to try and sell the thing. But Tanner didn't buy it. You saw he was way outside over there already. And he makes a nice play. See, there's Tanner right over here. Comes back and actually saves the day for the Cardinals, because if Tanner didn't force that thing back inside, Detroit had a little room out there.
On 3rd down, Lions lead the 30. That's forced to roll out and still completes it to Johnny Morton. Morton fights his way for a gain of 8 and a Detroit first down.
Nice job of Detroit picking up the Cardinal blitz. They stopped them initially, stopped the charge. Charlie Batch rolls out and finds Morton, and they convert this 3rd down again. Here comes the blitz. You got Woods coming here. You're going to see Tillman right here. He's coming inside, and Batch avoids Bell, squeezes himself outside, and gets it to an alert Johnny Morton. That's just a nice job by Batch, making something happen.
Charlie Batch 6 for 6 on 3rd down passing today. Bert Emanuel, another first down after the 12-yard pickup.
Emanuel's such a veteran receiver. He goes there. He saw the zone, so he set up right there in that soft spot. And Charlie Batch, who has been in a rhythm all day long and didn't lose it at halftime, comes out and finds his man sitting right in that front side zone.
Well, Marty Morningweg has told us that Charlie Batch has really picked up this West Coast offense a lot better than even they expected. It's just every now and then, after making several good plays, something bad happens to it. That pass going to be incomplete, intended for Johnny Morton. Tom Knight hanging all over it.
I don't know why Charlie Batch didn't throw the slant to Johnny Morton. I mean, Morton had plenty of separation, and I just don't understand why he didn't try and slide it in front of Tom Knight. You're going to see right here is Morton. He's going to come inside. He's going to run the slant. And watch the room that he has. I mean, he's wide open right there. He's still open, and Batch wasn't able to get the ball to him until late as he continued across the way, and by then Knight had time to close that distance.
Lamont Warren now in at running back. The pitch to him. Fights his way out across the 45-yard line for a gain of 7. Ronald McKinnon with the tackle.
And that's just a nice job again by the Lions offensive line. They're going to take it outside. Here's Jeff Backus. Watch him get the hook block. And that's the key. He gets it outside. See, now he's got his body between the hole and the running back. And I mean, that's just good footwork by the rookie Backus and keeping Fadafehi inside, creating a hole.
Their first-round pick from Michigan. Started all 4 years there, lost a total of 8 games. He's 0-8 as a pro. It's been a tough season for him. Batch on the rollout, completes it for the first down to Johnny Morton. All the way down to the 37-yard line. Give him 8 more.
And Backus and company did another nice job of protecting against the blitz. But you see, look at this. The University of Michigan right here. They got something to be proud of this year. We got 4 starters on opening day come from the University of Michigan into the NFL.
Well, those are all offensive linemen. I mean, Michigan's been known, you know, you go back to Jumbo Elliott and John Jansen with the Redskins.
Dan Deerdorf was a Michigan man.
Lamont Warren with a short pickup of 2 yards. It's funny how certain schools are known for certain things, isn't it?
And that's the University of Michigan. Here's Backus right here. They're going to run right up his Backus again. And watch him block Wakefield. He gets the shoulders turned. I mean, Wakefield's able to spin. They're a little holding right there. If they didn't call that, no takedown points on that one. But Backus, what he does, I think, got a good punch immediately. He gets his man turned, and that's half the battle.
Batch going up for Johnny Morton. Overthrown, but there's the flag. Corey Chavis grabbed him right on that right arm as he went to reach for the football.
And Chavis panicked. I don't think he had to do that, but he didn't pick up the football. And that's the problem when you're playing corner and you're out on that island. The key is what's your timing as far as looking for the football to see what you have.
Pass interference, 25, defense. First down,
And the Cardinals blitz again. That means one-on-one coverage out on the perimeter. And that's a nice shake move by Johnny Morton, creating the separation. And that became the problem for Chavis. The separation was too great that he couldn't turn his head and look back because he had to make up that distance. And then at the end, he kind of just panicked, stuck the hand out, grabbed Morton, and that's your flag.
That's going to be a 30-yard penalty. Gives the Lions a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Lamont Warren again. Tries to bounce it outside and does. Gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
Give Corey Schlesinger the assist on this one. He came out here and watch him. Schlesinger's in front. He's going to knock the perimeter right down. Bam, right there. Look at that block. That's Raynoch Thompson. Raynoch got knocked on that one. And that gave Warren enough of room, enough time to stretch it out and get inside that pylon in the corner of the end zone.
Second rushing touchdown of the season for Warren, who played that entire series. Not Reuben Drones, who started the game. Jason Hansen on for the extra point. So maybe that's what it takes to get the rushing game going. 9 plays, 80 yards. Lamont Warren capped it off with a 3-yard touchdown run, 21-14.
Telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
You want to know how Lamont Warren had time to get in the end zone? Check out Corey Schlesinger in the block he puts on Raynoch Thompson right here. That's a flat-out pancake. I mean, you don't get any better than that. And what that is, that allows Warren the time to bounce it outside and get that pylon, get it inside there. But what a huge block by Corey Schlesinger to spring Warren for that touchdown.
And don't forget the big 30-yard pass interference penalty on Corey Chavis, which set him up at 1st and goal from the 3. Marte Jenkins back to take this kick. And he's just going to stay there in the end zone. The Lions own a lead late in the game. Could it be the week?
There was no running back more fun to watch than Barry Sanders. He'd stop dead in his tracks and go backwards. He'd spin away from tacklers and go sideways. And yeah, he also moved forward for about 15,269 yards.
Hey, nothing beats an original. Original Coors, brewed with Rocky Mountain water.
Original Coors. Nice handoff.
A school.
Kurt Menefee, Ray Bentley, and DJ Johnson with you in Arizona, where so many of the Detroit players, Ray, told us how Marty Mornhinweg has really kept this thing together despite the 0-8 start and kept everything positive around the team.
He really has, and you got to give him credit because that's a difficult thing to do when you're looking at 0-8 and everybody's asking you what's wrong, when you're going to win one, what's going on. But to keep the enthusiasm and to keep you focused, you got to give the guy a lot of credit.
The Cardinals begin from the 20-yard line. Quick pass to David Boston. Good enough for an 11-yard gain and a 1st down. Todd Light on the tackle. But Mornhinweg, you know, he's not alone in this rough start. His first season as a head coach in the National Football League. Starting off 0-8, but, you know, throughout history, there have been a lot of coaches who turned out to be good coaches who started off with bad seasons.
Well, Super Bowl coaches is what it is.
And all those guys won Super Bowls with the very team they started off with.
And that's a heck of a list. It could be, I don't know that that means Marty's going to win a Super Bowl, but
we're not predicting that, but
it's not a bad thing to shoot for. And you know, it also goes to show you that it takes a little time. You know, you got to work your way into things.
Thomas Jones with a 1-yard run there. But you see what happens is, you know, people forget installing a new offense, a new defense is not just, well, you got the same players you had on the 9-17. It should work out. It doesn't always work that way immediately.
No, it doesn't. And you've got to put your own stamp on the team, and you got to keep them. You got to get them believing. I mean, a win would be so vital to his program right now.
Plummer working the shotgun. He's got the time and he scrambles. Going up top. Frank Sanders wide open. being chased by Tommy Bennett, but he won't catch him. Touchdown, Arizona Cardinals. "68 yards on the pass play to Frank Sanders.
And that's just a huge mistake by Tommy Bennett of letting Sanders go. Now you're going to see the blitz come from the Lions. It's an all-out blitz, and the Cardinals do a great job of picking it up. And now Plummer, this is what he does best, in my opinion, is make lemonade when he's got lemon. And that's what he does. I mean, he's scrambling around, the pressure's on him, and he lets that thing fly, finds Frank Sanders, who got behind Bennett, and there it goes, touchdown, and the Cardinals are right back in it.
That's the longest play from scrimmage for the Cardinals all season long. You see Frank Sanders limping. He tweaked a hamstring in practice on Friday. Didn't show the effects of it during the 68-yard pass play, but is afterwards. As Bill Gramatica gets the extra point to tie us at 21. Jake Plummer and the Cardinals get back in it. It's 21-all.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36. By DirecTV, the #1 satellite entertainment provider. By Original Coors, nothing beats an original. And by the Intel Pentium 4 processor, the center of your digital world.
Frank Sanders, 127 yards receiving after the 68-yard touchdown catch, puts him over the 100-yard mark for the first time since the last game of the '99 season. And it's the 5th straight game that the Cardinals have had a 100-yard receiver. The first 4 being, of course, David Boston. Short kick taken by Larry Foster right at the 10-yard line.
Let's go back to that touchdown. The Lions are going to blitz on this one. You're going to see Aldridge right here. He gets toppled, and that opens up the middle area, and that's where Plummer's going to end up, because there's nice discipline by the Lions ends, forcing him back inside the pocket. But now he's got a room to throw in there, and Jake does a great job of getting his eyes downfield and finding Sanders, who gets behind Bennett, and there it is. Now it's a foot race, and Sanders, he pulled up lame at the end of that thing. You see him hopping there. That's that hamstring, the right hamstring that he was nursing during the week. Actually missed the practice on Friday because of it.
And Bennett missed 3 games with a bad hamstring, so that was a chase of 2 guys with blown tires. Look at Charlie Batch going over the middle of the field for Johnny Martin.
What a catch.
Pulled it in with one hand, and no one touched him. Johnny Martin finally brought down by Corey Chavis at the 1-yard line.
Whew, how about Johnny Martin?
76 yards on the pass play. That's an answer.
That's a great play as I've seen this year. Johnny Morton, the ball was clearly overthrown. I mean, he didn't have a chance, and he lays out, gets it with the one hand, brings it in. Here he is. Here's Morton. And he's just running a post. He's just going downtown. He splits the 2 defenders. It's a cover 2. What a grab. And now he's not touched. You see Lassiter there. Kwame Lassiter never touched him. So now they get back up, and Chavis chases him down to the 1-yard line. Charlie Batch, that was a nice throw, but a better catch, an unbelievable catch. And Dave McGinnis may be considering reviewing this. You see the red flag in his pocket. He hadn't taken that thing out yet, but he also has the buzzer he can push.
First thing you do is push the buzzer, see if you can get his attention. He's talking to Bill Cololo, the referee. Let's take another look and see. He also may be challenging whether or not he was downed.
Arizona is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a catch and also down by contact.
That look right there looked to me like Morton caught the football. I could not quite tell if Lassiter touched him or not from that angle, but it certainly looked like Morton caught the ball.
So they're going to take a look and challenge both, see whether or not he caught it. And as you said, from that angle, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch by Johnny Morton. The question may be whether or not he was touched down, and so far, the Arizona Cardinals have not won a challenge this year.
Over on the reversals, and I don't know that they're going to win this one, because I think Morton made the unbelievable one-hand catch. When you see it, his arm and his hand are underneath the football. The ball does not touch the ground. The question to me is whether or not Kwame Lassiter touched Morton or not to make him down right there at the 32-yard line. Let's take another look at it. Now you saw the flag move a little bit, the towel that he's wearing, so that would indicate to me that there's contact. Tough to see from that angle whether or not the ball was caught.
This seems to be the better one. Well, now keep in mind, it was ruled that he was not down by contact, so in order to reverse it, they have to see something, as they say, indisputable visual evidence to prove to them that he was touched while he was down. Now, is that indisputable? I mean, can you say that for sure he was touched?
It's difficult from that look. I think I can safely say that, yeah, he was touched. From the one angle, I saw the towel fly up. It also looked from that angle that he hit him in the thigh. But to me, to overrule the fact that he caught the ball and make it an incompletion, I don't think you can do that based on what I've seen.
Yeah, I think the completion will stand. The question will be whether or not the ball is spotted back where he made the catch because he was down, or all the way down to the 1-yard line where it was finally tackled.
Right, and that looks like about the 32-yard line.
If they're checking on the first thing, whether he caught it or not, since that's the ruling on the field, can they check for the other thing, if he was touched or not?
That's DJ Johnson asking the question, and the thing is you can look and determine that a guy was down or not down. If you blew the whistle, then the play is over. You can't say, oh, well, he wasn't down, we made a mistake. But if he was downed and you did not blow the whistle, you can correct that on the replay.
You can correct it on the replay?
Yes, you can.
So if you go to the television to look for something else,
yes,
you can get something else that's coincidental.
As long as it was brought up, which is why on the sideline, Dave McGinnis said we're challenging whether or not it was caught and whether or not it was down.
Right, he opened up both cans of worms there. DJ, from your angle down there, could you see the play yourself, and do you have an opinion on it?
That's right. From down here, it looked like a heck of a catch. It just really looked like he extended out. He got the ball, he got his hand under the ball, and it just looked like a heck of a catch from here.
Well, as I said, I don't think the catch is going to be disputed. I think the question is going to be whether or not they see enough to say he was down, as opposed to letting him get back up and run it to the 1-yard line.
The other thing is, because of where it took place down the field, the different camera angles are far away. You don't really have a definitive angle, at least that we've seen. And so Bill Carollo is a little bit handicapped in that regard.
Here's the call.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined there is insufficient information and camera angles to uphold the challenge. Therefore, the play on the field stands. Catch, first down at the 1-yard line. Arizona is charged with a timeout.
And you know what? I mean, the reality is, based on what we've seen, that's the right call. You can't say that he was definitely down from the angles that we have.
Well, try telling Dave McGinnis that. An emotional man, he just turns and going to live to fight another down, and now he's got to get his defense going because the Lions didn't score on that. So there's still hope for the Cardinals to try and keep him out, but Detroit has been very good in the red zone so far today.
Johnny Morton and Bertie Manuel having a good old laugh after this 76-yard play. Set the Lions up at the 1-yard line, and they go with no wide receivers. Larry Foster, normally a receiver, playing in tight. Back to the end zone. David Sloan. Second touchdown catch of the day for him.
Well, they got McKinnon again. And the reason they're able to do that is because they've been able to run the football very well down in that area. Now here's going to be McKinnon. He's going to have Sloan, the tight end. And you see him get the late start because of the play action. Nice throw by Batch, but once again, the play action held McKinnon just long enough for Sloan to make that escape, get the separation, and Batch finds it.
So Jason Hansen on to try and re-extend this to a 7-point game, and all of a sudden, both these teams marching up and down the field on big plays.
Track me.
Hansen gets it. Only 2 plays, 77 yards. Capped off by the David Sloan touchdown, but Johnny Morton in that 76-yard reception. David Sloan, who makes his offseason home here in Scottsdale, Arizona, having a big day in the return home, if you will. 2 touchdown receptions. The last one giving the Lions a 28-21 lead.
And that, again, is set up by the play action for the Lions. I mean, they've had success. They ran it in earlier with the Corey Schlesinger touchdown. And so now the Cardinals are souped up to try and stop that run, and a little play action freezes the backers, and Sloan gets the separation.
Jason Hansen with the kickoff. Marte Jenkins from the 4. Jenkins going to be stopped after a return of 19 yards by Jimmy Wyrick. Another look at the touchdown.
Well, here's David Sloan right here, and you're going to get the play action. McKinnon is the guy that's got to cover him. And watch him bite. See him come up? Now he's got to stop the run. And the problem is Sloan gets a free escape. Right here, Fatafehi, he's got to stop Sloan. He's got to be able to jam him and keep him in long enough so that McKinnon can read the play action and get over there. So Fatafehi didn't do McKinnon any favor.
Cardinals starting at the 24-yard line. That's Steve Bush in motion. Michael Pittman on the carry. Back to Los Angeles and JB for an NFL game break.
Heard Chicago accused of being too conservative last week on offense. Look what happened on successive offensive plays. Miller hooking up with Booker. That one for 44 yards and a touchdown. The next possession when they get it, it's Miller and Booker again. This time for 66 yards. 3 times they've hooked up for touchdowns today, and the Bears lead it 24-9 over the Bucs. Back to Kurt and Ray.
All right, JB, the Bucs in jeopardy of falling to 4 and 5, and I'll tell you what, I'm a believer in that Chicago Bears team.
Yeah, I have my doubts, but you look at them, and every week they just keep pulling it out.
Jake Plummer under pressure, escapes again, ball bent incomplete. Barrett Green got a hand on that one, intended for David Boston.
And Plummer's scrambling around in there again. He gets the pressure, but that's when he's at his best. Jared DeVries has a shot to make a play. He's going to work back inside. He's the outside rusher up top here, and there he is. He just misses Plummer, and Plummer takes a shot at the end from Rodgers. But Jake Plummer has done a great job of moving around inside the pocket. Now, Detroit wanted to contain him, keep him inside, but he's burnt him inside. And he threw that long touchdown pass to Sanders inside the pocket, scrambling.
He's got to get him to the 34 for the first down. Plummer decided to bring it down and throws it incomplete right over the middle of the field. Tywan Mitchell, the nearest Cardinal, and it looked like he saw a guy and decided not to throw it.
He had Arnold Jackson wide open coming across the middle, and it would have gotten him the first down. He saw it too late, and so and then Jackson got picked up, and so he had to just throw it away. So he overshot the thing, just throwing it away down the middle instead of trying to force it in there and coming up with an interception, which he does not want to do again.
You know what? That's the first 3 and out by either team today, with 3:55 left in the third quarter. Chad Stanley with the punt. Larry Foster. I tell you, find it hard to find a better played game than the one played by these 2 quarterbacks and these 2 offenses this afternoon.
And really an outstanding football game being played today, and we have not seen Mike McMahon, who we expected to see when we talked to Marty Morningwake. He anticipated and told us his plan was to get the rookie McMahon in here, get him some time today. He's done so in the last 2 games. I think just Charlie Batch, and things have been going so well today that he said, hey, you know what? Let's let it roll. If it's going good, let it roll.
He's 18 of 26, 266 yards and 2 touchdowns. Why would you take him out of the game? That's Lamont Warren on the run, and we've seen Lamont Warren as the running back here in the second half. Reuben Drone started the game in place of James Stewart, but there's McMahon, and he should stay on the sideline all day long the way Charlie Batch is playing.
Well, I have to agree with you, and you know, the Lions, they want to break him in. He's a rookie. They are impressed with him and his physical tools and his skills, and they just want to get him in there and groom him a little bit and also evaluate him a little bit.
But you can't do it at the cost of victories. Batch over the middle, pass complete to Johnny Morton down to the 46 of Arizona. 15 yards on the play.
Give the Lions offensive line kudos and credit for picking up this blitz, because it's coming again. Here comes Tillman, there goes McKinnon, and they pick it up. Schlesinger gets his man. It's Matt Joyce picking up his old teammate, and he was hoping to get a hold of Tillman, and he did on that one. And they just buy time for Morton to break away from the coverage.
Johnny Morton, his 4th 100-yard receiving day of the year. That's Lamont Warren. Warren picks up 9 yards on the play. And this is what they wanted when they brought in this West Coast offense under Marty Morningway.
And there's Marty Morningway, and he's calling the plays, and he relays them to Kevin Higgins, who is the quarterback's coach, and then Higgins is the guy who talks to Charlie Batch. And this is kind of new for Morningway, because when he was at offensive coordinator in San Francisco for all those years, he talked directly to the quarterback.
2nd and 1. Out of the backfield, Corey Schlesinger just lowers that shoulder. Pickup of 7 yards and another Detroit first down.
And again, the Cardinals are bringing the blitz. The problem this time is they were late with it. Watch how late Lassiter is coming on the blitz. And here's McKinnon. He's going to have coverage on the back, and he gets picked on the way. But if your timing on your blitz isn't there, that means the quarterback's got a chance, and you got one-on-one coverage. You got man-to-man coverage. The offense is going to win that if they've got time and they protect the quarterback.
Lamont Warren now spread out in the slot. Now goes in motion. That's changed the play. Goes up top for Johnny Morton again. Incomplete. Corey Chavis giving chase.
Listen to Charlie Batch change this play. He expected another blitz, I believe, and so he's at the line of scrimmage, and listen to the audible. And he got the one-on-one coverage that he wanted on the outside, and just didn't throw a particularly good pass out there to Morton, who was covered well that time by Chavis. And you see Batch, he's being even sharper here in the second half.
He completed 6 in a row before that incompletion. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Batch being chased from behind by Fred Wakefield. And that's the first sack of the day for the Arizona defense.
And again, they get it on the blitz, and they're coming from the backside. Here comes the blitz. Tillman comes, and Wakefield's here, and he's the beneficiary. You see Backus, he comes inside to pick up the blitz, and nobody gets Wakefield. Some miscommunication between Schlesinger and Backus. Both of them blocked inside, and that let Wakefield come unmolested.
Seven-yard loss on the play, so it's 3rd and 17. Lions have to get it to the 20. Lamont Warren going to be short. Pickup of 7 yards on the play. Pat Tillman with the tackle.
And that's the first screen of the day we've seen from Detroit. And I don't know, Brendan Stye must have had a sty in his eye, because he went right by Tillman out in the open field. Detroit had 2 blockers out there, and neither of them picked up Tillman. He came through and made the play.
Well, one thing that happened on the pass play was Charlie Batch got over the 300-yard mark for the 3rd time this year. But it'll set up a 49-yard field goal attempt by Jason Hanson instead. Hanson, one of the more accurate kickers in NFL history, extends the lead to 10 points with 2 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Next Sunday, R2-D2 is coming to Fox when he joins the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. Then at 7, 6 Central for the first time on television, Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And following the premiere, don't miss the sneak peek at the StarWars.com documentary, R2-D2 Beneath the Dome. The humorous behind-the-scenes look at the droid and his rise to stardom. It's all coming at you next Sunday, only on Fox. You're a Star Wars guy?
Yeah, I am. I like the first ones. These new ones, I don't know about them yet.
I only saw the first.
I got to see them another 100 times, and then I'll tell you.
I only saw the first Star Wars about 2 years ago. I don't get it. But I guess 25 years afterwards, the technology is not as exciting, and I don't know.
Right. Well, in May, the number 2 is going to come out as well. So all the Star Wars freaks that are out there get excited about that one.
Now, what about Star Trek?
I'm a big old Star Trek
guy. Old Star Trek,
yeah.
The TV show, not the movies.
Exactly.
Wasn't a fan of the movies. Not big on Picard and all the other new guys. But Captain Kirk.
I'll tell you some Star Wars, the Detroit Lions offense today. Got some stars going there. Charlie Batch, Corey Schlesinger, Johnny Morton, David Sloan,
Jason Hansen, who just hit that 49-yarder. Kicking off, and that goes out of bounds. First bad play, really, we've seen from the Lions all day long. That's going to give the Cardinals the ball at the 40-yard line.
Kickoff out of bounds by the kicking team. By rule, the receiving team will keep the ball at the 40-yard line. That's the end of the third quarter.
So Arizona will begin the fourth with excellent field position after 3 quarters. It's 31-21 Detroit on top. Fox NFL Sunday will continue from Tempe after this.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
Back in Tempe for the start of the fourth quarter. Lions on top 31-21. Kurt Menefee, Ray Bentley, and DJ Johnson with you. This is the first time all season long the Lions have taken the lead into the fourth quarter as they look for their first victory of the season.
And that's a big lead, 10-point cushion. I'd be willing to bet you they haven't led anybody by 10 all season.
But it can be tough against Jake Plummer, king of the fourth quarter comebacks. He starts this period from the 40-yard line. Ball batted and incomplete. So you see this team, and they've had so many close losses. They've been right there at the end every week. This time they get to play from ahead with a little cushion. Might this be the thing that gets them over the hump?
I think it is. I think this might be the time for the Detroit Lions. However, they've lost the last 5 in a row in the fourth quarter when people have come back on them. So we got to let that play itself out. But up till now, they have played excellent football. The one thing they're going against is Jake Plummer, who is the master of the fourth quarter comeback. So we'll see what he gets here today.
Had won week 4 to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. And he escapes again. Completes the pass. That's Arnold Jackson with his first NFL catch. Jackson, a rookie free agent out of Louisville, the all-time Division I-A leader in receptions with 300 as a college player. That's number 1 in the NFL.
And it came on another Jake Plummer scramble. And that's where he's at his best. I mean, you can talk about all you want about how Jake has to learn to operate the offense and sit in the pocket and all this. He is at his best when he's running for his life. And you can see those close games we talked about with the Lions.
It's a 3rd and 7 for Plummer and the Cardinals. They got to get it right to the 50. The pump fake going up top. There's a penalty flag. That was intended for David Boston, but Kurt Schultz just took him out.
Schultz felt like he was beat. I mean, the pump fake, Schultz bit on it going out on the deep out route, the deep corner route, and Boston was going to take him up the field, and Schultz says, no, you're not. You're not going to get a free touchdown. I'm going to hit you right here. And that was just Schultz cutting his losses.
Pass interference, 45, defense, automatic first down.
Schultz, the guilty party.
There's double coverage. You see Schultz over the top. Boston, see him look outside, and now he's going up deep. And Schultz knew that he was going to get beat. His feet had stopped, and if Boston continued, it was going to be a touchdown, so he just knocked him off the pattern. And here's taking a big hit from Rodgers is Jake Plummer. Plummer's taking his shots today, I'll tell you that.
That turns out to be a 29-yard penalty. Michael Pittman with a pickup of 3. Kelvin Pritchett on the stop.
Jake Plummer, who has done a great job of avoiding pressure, but he's been under pressure all day long. I mean, the Lions have gotten after him both with the front 4 and with the blitz game. He's been hit 11 times, and I can think of 3 of those off the top of my head that were huge hits.
But he's also made big plays scrambling out of the pocket under pressure. Over the middle, Steve Bush. And Bush with a pickup of 7 yards.
It's his first NFL catch, too, I believe.
That's the second. Yeah, he had one earlier in the game when Ron Rice got in.
That's right.
Chris Claiborne on the tackle there. We'll see if he got the first down. And Bush is a guy, well, just signed before the game last week against the Giants. Had been with the Cincinnati Bengals for 4 years, but played right here at Arizona State with Jake Plummer.
Yeah, Plummer lobbied for him. Hey, I got to get one of my guys here. And Dave McGinnis likes Bush. He said, hey, in some of our packages, he's the #1 guy. He's shown that already, that his ability to block might be better than what they have with Mitchell or Hardy. And here he gets that catch and gets the first down.
There's another local boy done good, I guess. Went to Paradise Valley High School here in Phoenix. Arizona State right here on this field in Tempe. Played with Jake Plummer, and now getting to play with the Arizona Cardinals and getting a key first down here in the fourth quarter. What did McGinnis tell us? He thought it was a good inauguration by Bush last week.
Yeah.
Political humor.
Yeah. McGinnis is good for a few of those one-liners.
First down at the Detroit 18. Plummer rolling. On the throw. Towards David Boston, but a nice job by Todd Light to smack it down.
Well, they try and roll Plummer outside to give him a little room because he's been under such constant pressure. Get him outside. Now here's Boston. He's just going to run a hitch route. Just turn it around, and there's early contact by Todd Light. And I think that the officials missed this one because Light comes up and bumps him right there, and that's before the ball got there. I think that should have been pass interference.
No call, just fall for an incompletion. Plummer, pump fake. Up top for Boston. In the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona Cardinals.
I don't know what Terry Fair was thinking on that one because he wasn't even within 5 yards of David Boston. And give Plummer some credit for looking off the receiver, or the defender, but I mean, Terry Fair, his eyes were stuck in the backfield. He bought into Plummer's head fake, and he never got close enough to Boston to make a play.
David Boston, who already has a 13-yarder for a touchdown today, gets one from 18 yards out. And Bill Grammatica's extra point makes it a 3-point game once again. I dare you to find a better matchup than this today in the league. David Boston, his second touchdown catch of the day, and Terry Fair, another local guy who grew up here and went to South Mountain High School in Phoenix. Looking forward to the homecoming, but got caught looking the wrong way on that touchdown pass. Bill Grammatica. Larry Foster from the 4. And Ronaldo Hill on the tackle.
Kurt, let's take a look at this again, and we'll look at it both at the same time. You're going to watch the fake by Plummer on the slant look. Here we go. You saw the slant over there by Boston, and that was the pump fake, and now Terry Fair bit way too hard on that fake. And the problem was he had his eyes in the backfield. He was cheating. He was peeking at the quarterback, trying to make a big play, and Boston got the separation, and Plummer threw it in there.
Look at these two teams in the red zone today. Both teams absolutely perfect, getting touchdowns in each red zone possession.
Perfect on offense, that is.
Spoken like a linebacker. Charlie Batts, quick pass, Johnny Morton. Morton brought down by Corey Chavis after pickup of 21.
Well, you know, the Lions came back to this because I showed it earlier where you had Morton get inside on Chavis, and look at the separation that he gets. And Detroit saw that from up top as well, and they told Charlie Batch, hey, when we go back to this, get the ball to Morton on that backside slant. And they did so with perfect execution.
Morton now 156 yards received. Batch. Did he make the catch? Johnny Morton made the catch. Raynard Thompson picks up the fumble. Now we have an official saying it was incomplete.
Oh, that's one of them late calls that is not going to be popular here.
Originally, no signal was called.
Second down.
And there's Bill Carollo saying that it was incomplete. Take another look.
Yeah, everybody swallowed their whistle on this. Here's the umpire right here. Let's see if he makes a call.
And he stands there.
Yeah, he's not sure what he's going to do. Then the call came in late, incomplete pass, which I think is the right call.
I agree. But they did not call it originally. In the end, they made the right call, huh?
See if we can.
So it's second down at the 43. That's broken up. Adrian Wilson.
Wilson did a nice job coming up out of his zone and breaking that one up. But let's go back to that last play and see if we can't hear the whistle and see if it was blown. Take a listen. There was absolutely no whistle on a play. You play till the whistle blows.
Third long for the Lions. They got to get it to the Arizona 47 and penalty markers down before the snap.
Well, we heard the whistle that time.
Prior to the snap, false start. 76 offense.
Boy, and you wonder.
Remains
Is
third
it
down.
starting to unravel for the Lions again in the fourth quarter?
That's Jeff Backus, the left tackle. And I'll tell you, you're right. Coming into this with the largest lead they've had all year at 10 points. It's the first time they've gone into the fourth quarter with a lead. And this team, which has yet to win a game under Marty Mornhinweg, may be showing signs of stress. But there's still plenty of time. 12-11 left to play on third down. That's to Lamont Warren out of the backfield. Does some dancing and doesn't get enough.
What a great hustle play by Russell Davis on this one. Number 98 for the Cardinals. He's going to be right here. He's going to get the penetration initially. Look at Davis right there. See him get inside. Now he pressures Batch. Now watch him turn and run. Here's Big Davis. He's going to track that thing down and make the tackle as well. That's a huge play by Davis.
John Jett sets a punt. Arnold Jackson with room to run from the 14. Springs it outside. Finally forced out of bounds by Kurt Schultz. 47 on the punt, 24 in the return. And the Cardinals trying to make sure it's still a winless Detroit team that gets to play in that game. 0-8 right now. Plummer and the Cardinals, though, find themselves a 3-point hole to the Lions. First down from the 37. Plummer going up top. Marte Jenkins makes the catch. Dragged down by Kurt Schultz.
Marte Jenkins, all he did was out-muscle Todd Light. I mean, there was contact going down the field. Here he is, Jenkins on Light. Now he's going to run, and you see Light, he sees it all the way, but watch the contact right here, and Light just stumbles. And Schultz was a little late coming over the top to help out. He makes the touchdown-saving tackle, but that's just Marte Jenkins being a little more physical than Todd Light.
53 yards on the play, and Jenkins in there, because after Sanders had the 68-yard touchdown, he left with an injured hamstring. That's Michael Pittman. What a day this has been for the passing game. Both quarterbacks over 300 yards right now. Bat 326, Plummer 331. You've got a couple of receivers over 100 yards.
Well, going back to that last play, Jake Plummer, I didn't give him the credit he deserved. He dropped that one off a building on a dime. And that was beautiful. He threw it right over the top. Came right in on perfect timing for Marte Jenkins.
After a 3-yard pickup by Pittman. 2nd and 7. Penalty marker down on the play.
Offsides, Detroit.
That's the call from Bill Carollo.
Offside, 96, lined up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
That's on James Hall. And I'll tell you what, I never understand how a guy lines up in the neutral zone.
Well, you're trying to get as much of that ball as you can and help you get off that line and you know, make a better play. But there's things built in. The guys on the end of the line have to look down every play and let you know. I mean, you got to be able to help each other out. And James Hall didn't get the help he needed on that one.
So it's second and goal from the 4. Plummer looking up top. Marquez Jenkins, touchdown, Arizona Cardinals.
And again, I don't understand what Terry Fair is thinking. I mean, that's twice now he's been beat right in that same corner of the end zone because he doesn't have tight coverage on the receiver. You see Fair, he's looking in the backfield again. That's the #1 sin for a cornerback. You've got to have your eyes on your man, especially in that red zone when things happen a lot quicker and you got nowhere to go with it. And again, Fair got caught peeking.
Bill Gramatica with the extra point, and Arizona takes the lead 35-31. Marte Jenkins, his second touchdown of the year.
Here's Marte Jenkins up here working on Terry Fair. Now look at the cushion. You can't give him that much room, in particular in the red zone. And the next thing you can't do is backpedal in the end zone. Look, he gets all the way back 3 yards deep in the end zone. You can't afford to do that down there because the ball's got to come out that fast. You can't retreat into your own end zone.
Marte Jenkins, just his second touchdown catch of the year. The other, with 9 seconds left to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Might it lead to another victory? That gives Arizona its first lead of the day at 35-31.
Just 5 minutes ago, Detroit was up by 10. What happened?
Larry Foster from the 4. Cody Reinhardt wraps him up right at the 20. We send it out to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Hey, Kurt, Kent Graham, of course, in for the injured Tony Banks. Hooking up here with Michael Westbrook. 4th touchdown reception of the season for Westbrook, and it's all tied in Denver. Time permitting, we'll take you there. Back to Kurt and Ray.
Talk about bouncing back from that 0-5 start. The Redskins 3 straight wins, a bye week, so they had 2 weeks to get ready for today in Denver.
And they've got a chance still in that division, although the Eagles are starting to look like a runaway team in there. Another big win for them today.
And the Giants play Minnesota on Monday night. From behind for the first time today, starting at the 20. Charlie Batts thrown behind, broken up, incomplete. Bert Emanuel, the intended receiver. And Emanuel looks like he's hurt.
Well, he's writhing in pain down on the field. And another Lion getting injured. I think Charlie Batts is late throwing that football. I mean, if he gets the ball earlier to Bert Emanuel, now Emanuel's got a chance to do something with it. You're going to see Emanuel come in across the middle. Right there he is. And Batts got to get him in earlier. If you get the ball earlier, now you can make a clean catch, and now you have a chance to do something against the linebacker. But that's just Emanuel losing concentration on the football.
Well, it looks like Raynoch Thompson kind of landed on his leg awkwardly and got it twisted while he was kind of falling over. And remember, Bert Emanuel, the reason he's here is because of the injuries to Herman Moore and Jermaine Crowell.
You know, you can say that about the Lions. They've had their injury problems this season. You get a West Coast offense, you need some receivers, you need a good running back, and you need a solid offensive line. They've lost a lot of guys. Crowell, Moore, James Stewart. It's been a tough year for the Lions, and we have another one, Bert Emanuel, down on the field. Here's Bert Emanuel coming across, but Ray Thompson's going to land on him when his legs go back over the top, and this is where Emanuel gets hurt. Right there, you see the leg bent awkward and funny, and that's what hurt Bert Emanuel.
He was helped off the field, didn't put any weight on that left leg. After the incompletion at 2nd and 10. Warren. Pick up of 4 yards. We pick up JB for another game break.
Take a look at the #1 ranked defense in the National Football League at work here. Pittsburgh on defense. Joey Porter strips the ball of Jonathan Quinn, recovered by Pittsburgh, and it leads to this Cordell Stewart run for the touchdown. Pittsburgh knocking off Jacksonville today, 20-7. Let's take it back to Kurt and Ray.
Man, it's like the old days. The Steelers doing well, the Bears doing well.
Steel curtain, that's a phenomenal defense. Getting it done, I think, despite Cordell Stewart playing quarterback.
On third down, Lions needing to get it to the 30. Cardinals show blitz. Batch got it in the air, picked off. Fred Wakefield fights his way into the end zone for the touchdown.
And the blitz pays off. Here's Kwame Lassiter. He's going to come in. He's the one who gets the pressure. He bats the ball. Wakefield's sitting right here. He's tied up. And look at what dropped out of the sky. Penny from heaven. So now here goes Wakefield. And you got to give credit to Anderson. He almost caught him coming up from the sidelines, but Wakefield takes it into the end zone, and the Cardinals have scored 17, actually 16 unanswered. Actually, it's 20 unanswered here in the fourth quarter.
Sending the extra point, which Bill Gramatica gets through.
21 straight points.
9:04 left to go in the fourth quarter. 5 minutes ago on the clock, the Lions had a 31-21 lead. Now they trail 42-31.
And that is just amazing, Kirk. We talked about it. And, you know, hey, are the wheels coming off? And they come off as Lassiter, he's going to show up late. Right up here. Here he comes on the blitz. Gets the hands up. Good timing there. And, boy, sometimes when it rains, it pours if you're a Detroit Lions fan. You thought you had your first one. You're up by 10 starting the fourth quarter. Things are all in place. Marty's going to get his first W. Batch is having a great game. And then all of a sudden, the wheels come off.
Well, Fred Wakefield, the rookie free agent, has a sack in this game. Now it's his first career interception, and he scores a touchdown on it. And that's the first defensive touchdown scored by the Arizona Cardinals this season. To credit Kwame Lassiter for getting in there and batting that one into the air to allow Wakefield a chance to get it.
Well, that blitz is always a double-edged sword, and Detroit was capitalizing on it early. They were picking up the blitz, and Batch was completing the ball downfield. But you got to give the Cardinals credit. They just kept coming. Larry Marmee and his guys kept coming with the blitz, and it paid off for them.
Well, there you see the season average. Both these teams way over that. Gosh, the Cardinals have scored more than their season average here in the fourth quarter, and we're only 5 minutes into the period. 6 almost. Bill Gramatica with the kick to Larry Foster. Foster wrapped up by Marcel Shipp.
And he ran into a wall. Actually, a Zach wall.
You know, we talked about it during the Open. These two teams have found a way, not necessarily to win this year, but a way to lose. And the Lions right now seem to be on track, having blown a 10-point lead here in just over 6 minutes of play.
Yeah, and it's amazing. You know, they just don't have any confidence. I think that's the bottom line with the Lions football team right now. You just don't quite have that little bit of belief that changes these kinds of situations.
Batch. Corey Schlesinger fights his way out to the 30 for a pickup of 7. Back to Los Angeles and JB.
Hey, Kurt, how nice to have an additional weapon by the name of Jerry Rice. 3 touchdown receptions today as he guides Oakland to victory. They are now 7-2 atop the AFC West. Kurt and Ray.
All right, so it's the Steelers, Bears, and Raiders, just like the old days. Pass batted down incomplete by Batch. Going to bring up a 3rd down.
Boy, and it happened so quickly. Charlie Batch having perhaps his best day of the season. And all of a sudden, the floodgates opened up.
And keep in mind that with the injury to Bert Emanuel, Desmond Howard hurt earlier, they're down to 3 wide receivers in a game they're down double digits. Charlie Batch out of the backfield, Lamont Warren, and Warren going to be a couple yards shy of the 1st down thanks to the tackle by Ronald McKinnon. Down to DJ Johnson.
Hey, guys, you know, this has been just like a mass unit down here today. For the Cardinals, we had Burke out with a stinger. Frank Sanders goes out with a hamstring injury. And for the Lions, of course, we saw Ron Rice with a serious neck injury earlier. Desmond Howard, their star returner, with a shoulder injury. And now their productive receiver, Bertie Manuel, is out with a knee sprain, and it does look pretty bad. It's just been crazy down here, but these guys are fighting on. Back up to you, Kurt.
All right, DJ. Lions obviously going for it on 4th down. They got across the 33 for the first. Kwame Lassiter with the interception.
5 games in a row now for Lassiter.
6 interceptions in the last 7 games for Lassiter. The last 2 possessions by the Lions end in turnovers for the Cardinals defense.
And the problem with this one is Charlie Batch. I mean, this is a speed outcut off the motion. And Batch doesn't throw the football. He's got it. Watch. Here's the motion right here. Batch has got a 1, 2, 3. Throw it right now. Instead, he keeps running out there and then tries to hit on the second level to Anderson. But he had Morton open right there. He needed to get rid of that ball on that 3rd step to get the first down, and instead he held on to it.
We talked about this Cardinals defense early in the game, and Dave McGinnis told us he doesn't know sometimes how they do it. So many free agents, so many young guys, but they scrap, they keep their team in games. Now, they gave up 31 points today, but they came through here on these last 2 possessions with the turnover. Michael Pittman with a short run. We send it back to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
Hey, Kurt, take a look at what happened in Tampa. The quarterback sneak by Brad Johnson. And now the 2-point conversion to Aldott. It is now 27-24 Chicago. And there are 2 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in that one. Kurt and Ray.
All right, JB, a couple of good finishes going on around the league. Detroit still looking for its first victory. Arizona with the ball, though, 7 minutes to play and an 11-point lead.
Well, we thought we were going to have a good finish here, but it's been all Cardinals in the 4th quarter.
Michael Pittman on the ground. They keep it there as they continue to run clock. At the start of this 4th quarter, Lions with a 31-21 lead, but Jake Plummer to David Boston for an 18-yard score, then Plummer to Marte Jenkins for a 3-yard score. And then Charlie Batch picked off by Fred Wakefield, who ran it back 20 yards for the touchdown. And just like that, a 10-point lead turned into an 11-point deficit.
Boy, you see Brendan Stein on the sideline with his head down like that. And I think that kind of captures the moment right now for the Detroit Lions. They're shocked and in disbelief that it's happened again.
That look says it all, doesn't it?
I mean, what do you have to do?
Well, let me ask you this. So many of these losses, the last 5 by an average of 4.5 points, and this team stayed together, and they were able to withstand that, saying, we're close, we're close. You have a big lead in the 4th quarter today, and you wind up losing it all. Might this be more devastating than the close losses?
This one's going to be a crusher. I mean, now we still have some time left, and Detroit still got a chance in this. They need to rise up and make a play right now, but if it continues like this, this is going to be the one I think that really is going to make some people start to doubt.
Cardinals need to get it to the 27 to keep their drive going. Plummer on play action. Throws it nowhere, incomplete.
You got to question the play call by the Cardinals in this situation. Just a 3rd down and 5, and they're going to go to some play action and throw the ball incomplete, stop the clock, and now it's punt time, and it's going to keep Detroit alive.
Well, they're not going to punt, actually. They're sending Bill Gramatica on for a long field goal attempt. And up until the last 2 drives, I mean, the Lions showed that they could drive the ball down the field today. Bill Gramatica on to try the 50-yard attempt. And he gets it through. The rookie with the longest field goal of his career so far. 50 yards, extends the lead to 14 points. He doesn't get quite as excited as his brother Martin when he scores, but still a little jumping up and down by Bill Gramatica.
Well, as a former linebacker, I hate to see kickers running around dancing out on the football field. Just kick it and go over there and get your job done. You know what I mean?
Well, the Lions unfortunately saw it last week when Martin kicked the field goal to win the game. There's Bill. He doesn't have quite as much hops as his brother.
Yeah, he's going to get to that. I think it's, you know, he's a little younger, rookie, and you can see he's awful excited. He goes in there and gets in the jungle with the big boys.
So Arizona with a 45-31 lead. You see them working on Bernie Manuel's knee. 25 unanswered points for the Cardinals, all here in the fourth quarter.
Thing about it is, though, with 6.5 minutes left, and the way the Lions have moved the football today,
it's not out of the question.
No,
and two touchdowns.
And they got to make sure that they realize that. You'd hate to see them bowing their heads on the sidelines. That's not what you need right now.
Larry Foster from the 2. Foster out to the 37-yard line. Good field position. One way to start. Next week, it's another full day of NFL action, beginning with the undisputed champion of pregame shows, Fox NFL Sunday. Then two offensive powerhouses collide as Jeff Garcia and the 49ers keep pace in the NFC West when they battle Peyton Manning and the Colts. Or Ricky Williams and those Saints visit the Patriots as both teams try to stay in the playoff hunt. Plus other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. 6:21 to play here in Tempe. Cardinals on top, 45-31 of the Detroit Lions. Lions starting just shy of the 38-yard line. That's Lamont Warren. Forced out of bounds. Just shy of the first down marker, looks like. Sekou Sanyika pushed him out.
Nice play by Lamont Warren, making Corey Chavis miss out there in open space. The Cardinals defense now, they're going to be content to play back there in the zone. That one was a too-deep zone, rushing 4, and just make them catch it underneath. Make Charlie Betch throw those dump downs so that they don't give up the big play and just eat that clock up.
Well, he did get enough for the first down at the 48. Batch just gets rid of it, throws it out of bounds.
And that was just a 3-man rush, and McKinnon actually came late. He was sitting in there kind of as a spy, and he did a nice job of coming up and forcing Batch to throw it away. But, I mean, this here is a critical drive for Marty Mornhinweg and his Detroit Lions, and it looks to me like the life has already been sucked out of Detroit.
There's certainly a different feel to this right now, where they were playing with so much verve and so much confidence going into this quarter, and it seems like it's been zapped. But that can all come back in one big play, we know. Batch working from the shotgun. Pump fake. Goes for the big play. Larry Foster. Down inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. 36 yards on the play. We send it back to Los Angeles, and JB.
Hey, Kurt, the Tampa Bay defense had done a job holding and forcing a punt to Chicago, but look at what Brad Johnson does. Throws a pick, picked off by Tony Parrish with a little less than 2 minutes remaining. Back to Kurt and Ray.
All right, JB, Lions going with the hurry up. Corey Schlesinger stays on his feet. Nice job after Ronaldo Hill hit him.
That last play by Charlie Batch, he actually had 2 guys open as the Cardinals' zone defense, to me, got a little lackadaisical. They got too deep in their zones. He had a man open down the middle where he pump faked it, and that froze the safety. And then he pitches a strike outside to Foster, who is in front of Lassiter, who was too deep in his zone. And again, you don't want him throwing over your head, but in front of you for 30 yards is just as bad.
That's out to Corey Schlesinger, who was wide open.
Batch, I think, just made a last-second decision. He was going to throw it over the middle. He's looking over the middle. Go ahead and run that thing. He's looking over the middle right here, and that's not there. So late in the thing, he wants to throw it out here, and it's just too late for him to make a good throw. Kind of changed his mind in mid-throw.
You can see Schlesinger was alone. third down, but obviously this is 4-down territory. They can get a first if they can cross the 7. Batch for Johnny Morton. Broken up by Adrian Wilson.
It's a great job by Wilson. The first just sugaring the blitz. He's in there. He looks like he's going to blitz. Here he is. Right. Look at how far inside he is. And yet he bails out and he takes the great pass to cut off that slant route. That's good instincts by Wilson, knowing exactly where he has to go. Took the proper angle to get in front of that slant pass. That Wilson's a pretty good player.
Yeah, he is.
I see him as being a good one for years to come.
Their third-round pick out of North Carolina State. Fourth down. If they cross the 7, they get the first.
They're up there showing that blitz again. They bring it.
Quick pass out. Larry Foster makes the catch. Fight. Got there. First down, Lions.
Give Larry Foster all the credit because Tom Knight read the route. He was right up on it, but Foster's extra effort. Watch this, the spin move and then the dive to get the first down. Give Foster credit. He knows what the situation is.
Batch on first and goal from the 6. Throwaway. A lot of red jerseys there in the end zone.
Yeah, Lions trying to flood the zone over there, and the Cardinals anticipated, covered everybody up, so Batch had to throw it away.
Best passing day of Charlie Batch's career, but it won't mean a thing if he doesn't get the win.
Lions score here. There's still plenty of time to stop it, stop the Cardinals, and then get another shot to tie it up.
Batch towards the end zone. Lamont Warren, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Give Charlie Batch credit in this drive. He hung in there. He made the plays that need to be made to keep this Lions team alive. Warren comes out of the backfield and he gets inside Wilson. That's one thing you always want to do, is keep inside leverage when you're in coverage. If you give him the inside, that's a much easier throw for the quarterback, and Batch, all he had to do was zip it down the middle.
Jason Hanson for the extra point. And it's now a 45-38 game thanks to the 6-yard touchdown reception by Lamont Warren.
Lamont Warren's right here, and Adrian Wilson's got him man-to-man. What's going to happen is Warren's going to get inside. You see, Wilson was late getting outside, so now it's inside leverage for Warren, and that's a much easier pass. You see Wilson hammering the ground. He knows he messed this one up. And Batch put that in the right spot. That's a nice pass from Charlie Batch, and it kept the Lions' hopes alive.
Batch goes over the 400-yard passing mark for the first time in his career. We have seen 31 points scored between these two teams with 4:11 left in the fourth quarter. 31 in this period alone, I mean.
Devoid of defense. The offenses have just pretty much had their way throughout the day. Early on, it was big, long drives, converting third downs, and then as the second half came around, it became big plays.
68-yard touchdown pass to Frank Sanders, a 76-yard pass that set up a touchdown from the 1-yard line to Johnny Morton. Batch at 400 yards, Plummer 330. Sanders over the 100-yard mark as a receiver. Morton over the 150 mark as a receiver. Boston at 80. If you like offense, this has been your day.
And it's been a well-played game, too. I mean, you pretty much had it all. And now the Cardinals are taking a timeout.
When was the last time you saw a timeout before kickoff?
I don't believe I ever have.
Fox Tuesday, catch Kiefer Sutherland in a new episode of 24. That's this Tuesday at 9, 8 Central, right here on Fox. And if you missed the second hour of 24, you can catch it tonight and tomorrow night on FX. So be sure to catch your local cable listings. Have you seen that show at all?
No, I haven't.
Each episode is 1 hour in the day, and it started at midnight. And so there have been 2 episodes. So the first one went midnight to 1, the next one 1 to 2. And he's a secret agent, and he's trying to stop the president or presidential candidate from being assassinated the night of the election. And Kiefer Sutherland is the secret agent, and the whole season will go hour by hour in real time.
All right, you got me hooked. I'm going to have to watch it.
Speaking of shows, have you seen that Bernie Mac show on Fox?
I did not, but I heard good things. I heard an interview with Bernie Mac talking about it, and that is one I do want to see. Bernie Mac's a funny man.
I'm a Simpsons fan. It's the best show on television after all these years, no doubt. But Bernie Mac is laugh out loud funny. If you want hilarity, watch the Bernie Mac show on Wednesday nights.
Lions fake the onside line up, and now they're going to kick it down the field.
Marte Jenkins bounces it outside. Jenkins going to be brought down at the 30-yard line. Brock Olivo in on the tackle. And Olivo is one of those interesting guys. Here you see him on the special teams tackle.
And Olivo, he's on this team because of special teams. He's one of the top cover men, I think, in the ballgame right now.
Now, he says when he's running down on kicks, he has music in his head. But he's got Mozart.
Mozart.
How many football players? Rondo Alaturk, which I'm told, I don't know anything about Mozart, but he says it's a Turkish war song. So that's what's in his head as he goes downfield. He's thinking about the collisions he's going to take part in.
Whatever it takes, you know what I mean?
First down for Arizona. David Boston makes the adjustment, but can't make the catch.
That's a great play by Light, ripping that football out.
Talking about Brock Olivo. Talking about Herman's head.
Here you go. Here's Rondo Alaturk.
How does that get you fired up as a football player?
I don't know. I think you need some new tunes.
Michael Pittman. Chris Claiborne with the stop, and obviously, we don't need to say it, but this is a huge defensive series for the Detroit Lions. And they call a timeout to try and stop the clock with 3:47 left, leaving them 1 timeout. And, of course, they've also got the 2-minute warning.
Well, you can't accuse the Cardinals of shutting it down earlier.
No.
I mean, in that last series on a 3rd and 5 before the long field goal by Gramatica, they threw the football. And now here on 1st and 10, they take a shot with David Boston. So, you know, they're definitely not sitting on it.
Well, look at the numbers from this game. 400 yards for each team. Big day for Charlie Batch. Big day for Jake Plummer. His second career 4-touchdown game. But the difference was that 24 unanswered points in the 4th quarter by Arizona. The Lions just answered it, though, with the score to get it back to within a 7-point game.
Right, and this now becomes a huge down right here. You know, it's going to be a 3rd and, I'd say, 7 yards. And if the Cardinals fail to convert on this one, they're going to have to kick the ball to Detroit with plenty of time left.
Well, the Cardinals have to get the ball to the 44-yard line to keep this drive going. So far, they're 3 and 5 on 3rd and 7 or more this afternoon.
And this, to me, is David Boston time. And that's my money guy.
Boston not on the field at all on that play. Michael Pittman with the run, and he's going to be stopped far short of the 1st down, and the Lions use their final timeout. But I think you're right. How can you not have David Boston on the field, whether as the guy you're throwing to or even as a decoy?
Yeah, I mean, it's 3rd and 7 here. You have to have your playmakers on the field. I don't understand what Dave McGinnis is doing in that situation, especially when they took the shot on 1st down and they threw the football to Boston and almost got it completed, except for a great play by Todd Light. You know, the other thing I don't understand is the Lions using their final timeout. There's 3 minutes and 39 seconds left. To me, you're better off saving that timeout, so you burn up 30 seconds and let them punt the football. You still have that timeout, and you still have 3 minutes to go. So I question the coaching on both sides at this point.
Well, there you see the Detroit Lions And those 5 losses by 8 points or less have been their last 5 losses. Most in the league so far this season. Right now they're within 7 points. And after the punt, they're going to have the football with just over 3.5 minutes to go on the clock.
Which is a lot of time.
Chad Stanley in just his 2nd game as the Cardinals punter. That's to Larry Foster. It's going to be short. Foster muffed it. But he falls on top of it, and the Lions retain possession right at the 25. Let's check in with JP again and see what's going on.
Hey, Kurt, in that Chicago-Tampa Bay game, take a look. Tampa Bay trying to drive for a score here as Brad Johnson hits Warren Gunn. Gunn is hit out of bounds by R.W. LaPorta. Flagrant foul. That set Tampa Bay up for this game-time field goal. A 48-yarder by Martin Gramatica. He missed it. Chicago's sole possession of the NFC Central improves to 7-2. Back to Kurt and Ray.
So we saw Bill Gramatica celebrate his 50-yarder. No celebration for Brother Martin. Lions start at the 25-yard line, down by a touchdown. Looking for that first win of the season. That's under pressure. Gets rid of it. And he had Lamont Warren over there, so it won't be intentional grounding, but Sekou Sanyika got on right on top of him. There you see the 2nd biggest passing day in Lions history behind Scott and Mitchell.
Yeah, and it looks like Batch, the way he's been throwing and working all day, he's got a chance to break that record. I thought he held that one too long. He had the dump down right away. He should have just dumped it out to Schlesinger. Let's move the ball down the field incrementally. He's trying to get too much in that first down play.
Warren and Schlesinger in the backfield.
Blitz.
They pick it up. Johnny Morton threw his hands, incomplete. Fox Tonight Thanksgiving here a couple of days early. Help yourself to a serving of brand new episodes. The Simpsons, the best show on television. Malcolm in the Middle, a darn fine show as well. And the X-Files starting tonight at 7:30, 6:30 Central, only on Fox.
Here's Johnny Morton on that last play, and he's just going to run deep out. And a little comeback, and boy, felt like he should have had that one. I think he hurt a finger on that play. Laid on the ground for a while, but he knows he's got to be in there. They don't have anybody else.
They're down to just 3 wide receivers. Bass stepped up on the center. With time over the middle, intended for Morton, and almost picked off. Adrian Wilson. That's Charlie Batch's 53rd pass attempt of the day. That also a Detroit Lions record. But you got a feeling there's going to be 54 here on 4th down.
Watch David Sloan. I think he's wide open coming across the field when Charlie Batch misses him. I mean, look at Sloan. There he is. You've got time. You've got to get the ball in there. Instead, he tries to force it down the middle.
This is a big 4th down. Obviously, with 3:11 left on the clock, there's a possibility they could get the ball back if they don't convert here. But look at the field position. It would put Arizona in. They need the 35. They got it. Larry Foster. Gain of 13 yards.
Heck of a throw by Charlie Batch. I mean, you know, Chavis has given Foster a little too much respect, but you have to. Here's Chavis covering him up, but look at the room there. There's a lot of room, and now Chavis is cheating. You see his eyes in the backfield, and he isn't able to react soon enough. And I got to give Charlie Batch credit. This is a great throw under pressure. I mean, that's a rope right where it needs to be.
Johnny Morton now in the backfield. Batch. Throws it out to Mont Warren. Makes a spin move. We send it back to Los Angeles and JB for another game break.
So take a look at what Washington is doing at Mile High. Kent Graham again in for the injured Tony Banks, hooking up with Zeron Flemister. That score makes it 17-10. If it holds, Oakland will have a 3-game lead in the AFC West over Denver. Back to Kurt and Ray.
Well, Kent Graham, of course, spent some time with these Arizona Cardinals.
But the resurgence of the Redskins, that's an amazing turnaround for Marty Schottenheimer, the old school guy. I like that.
Back working from the shotgun on 2nd and 5. Pulls it down. and eventually throws it, but it's incomplete to Johnny Morton.
I think Johnny Morton still, something's a little wrong with him. I mean, when he kind of just threw himself at that football. That did not look smooth like Johnny Morton usually looks. You see a Detroit Lion record for Charlie Batch. And he wants more than that, I'll tell you, because Detroit still has a chance, trailing by 7, to pull this one out, which is they had it in control, they lost it, and now they're fighting to get it back.
And he works out of the shotgun on 3rd and 5. Completes it to Larry Foster. And Foster gets 7 yards and another first down. Larry Foster has kind of been his go-to guy here in the 4th quarter.
Foster's coming through in the clutch. He caught the first down pass on 4th and 10. 3rd down and 5. They go back to Foster, and now he limps off the football field.
And once again, we've said it, they only have 3 healthy receivers right now because they lost both Desmond Howard and Bernie Manuel in this game.
And they have to put Lamont Warren out there at a receiver.
Bass for David Sloan, and it's picked off. Kwame Lassiter. The 2nd interception of the game for Lassiter, 3rd of the day by the Cardinals defense on Batch.
And I think that was a mistake by the Lions. You know, there's no need to go and hurry up that play. You got the 2-minute warning coming. You have a first down. Just let that thing run out to the 2-minute warning. You got another receiver injured. You know, let the troops gather up on the sideline. There's no need to hurry right there. And instead, they do hurry, and Charlie Batch is forced to make a tough throw, and it's an interception. I just think it's poor management on the football field. Here's Schlesinger right here, or I'm sorry, Sloan right there. And he just overshoots him a little bit. But to me, that's a bad play from the get-go. You don't need to snap the football right there. You got the 2-minute warning coming. You got a receiver hurt. You only have 2 left. You put Lamont Warren out in the slot. Just let the clock run to the 2-minute warning and regather. They didn't do that.
Kwame Lassiter gets his 7th interception in the last 7 games. Michael Pittman stopped by Sean Rogers. 2-minute warning stops the clock. Lions out of timeouts. They've got to find a way to stop the Cardinals and get the ball back. Down 7. A beautiful day by Charlie Batch. 3 touchdowns and 400 yards. Suddenly gone awry here in the 4th quarter with 3 picks.
Well, he set Lions records in completions, attempts, and yards, but I'm sure he'd trade that for a W.
Michael Pittman. Pick up with 6 yards, and the Lions within 7 points. A spot they're used to. Their last 4 games, Joe Nending's 46-yard field goal was the difference against Tennessee. That has a pass intercepted by Darrell Williams with less than 2 minutes left. That lost that game. Larry Foster against the 49ers 2 weeks ago can't hold on. They lose that one by 8. And last week in Detroit against Tampa Bay, Martin Gramatica 35 yards with 4 seconds left. And that was the difference there.
There's your Gramatica running around again.
3rd and 3 for Arizona. Pittman, and he stops, but bounces outside, keeps it alive. He's going to be out near the first down marker, needed to get the 44.
And I don't think he got it. Nice effort from Barrett Green at staying with the tackle, but that's going to bring up a 4th down, and so I believe the Cardinals are going to have to punt the football. Well, they'll measure it first.
Exactly, which stops the clock for Detroit, at least temporarily, helps them out.
Well, then there'll be a minute left, and they'll run 25 off of that, so the Cardinals will be right around 35 seconds when they punt. And then the course of that play, what's going to end up, Detroit's going to end up with the football between 20 and 25 seconds.
Now, the thing is, Larry Foster has had a big 4th quarter as a receiver, but their main weapon on special teams, Desmond Howard, 8 punt returns for a touchdown in his career, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 34, but you know what, 31, pardon me. But he was hurt on the opening kickoff, has been gone, so that's a weapon that they don't have here in the final minute. Don't forget, tonight on Fox, The Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle, and The X-Files, all coming up after we're done with football. And after we're done here in Arizona, time permitting, we'll take you to Denver for the conclusion of the Redskins-Denver Broncos. And last we saw, Washington on top in that game, looking for their 4th straight win.
Right, 17-10, the Redskins up on Denver there. But here, Chad Stanley's going to try and hang this one high and eliminate the possibility of a return back there. And
Terry Fair back there.
And Fair is, I mean, this is his hometown. If something's going to happen, it's Terry Fair time.
There's his family. They're hoping for more than just a fair return in Detroit. Chad Stanley, who 2 weeks ago was working on a tractor at his father's construction company, having been released by the San Francisco 49ers, now finds himself needing to boom one to help Arizona hang on for their 3rd win of the season.
The Cardinals burned 24 of the 25 seconds off the play clock and game clock, so 36 seconds left. They take the timeout.
That's Arizona's final timeout.
You know, the last time Terry Fair was here, he picked up a fumble and returned it for a touchdown. So
that was in a game here, obviously, against Arizona,
right.
1999.
We've seen some strange things today. You just don't want to count anybody out yet.
Well, this has been an exciting day on offense for both teams, and it started out, well, with just about everything kind of going both teams' way. They kind of split. David Boston had a couple of big receptions. The Lions also getting a couple big plays. It was tied at 14 at half. In the second half, the Lions came out and took a 10-point lead, but back came the Arizona Cardinals. After that touchdown gave Lions a 10-point lead, they scored the next 24, did Arizona. And there's Terry Fair with some running room. Fair goes down at the 35-yard line, making Mama proud. Sekou Sandiego on the tackle. 48 on the punt, 26 on the return. More importantly, 23 seconds left on the clock. Lions with no timeouts, and they're about 66 yards away from the end zone.
Yeah, and with no timeouts, Charlie Batch is going to have to work the sidelines. He's going to have to get out of bounds to stop the clock, or you're not going to have enough opportunities. Now, you need a couple of completions along the sidelines. Now, then you're going to be close enough where you can take your shot and throw the Hail Mary.
Johnny Morton, 7 catches today, 153 yards, including a big 76-yarder that set up a score. Batch towards the sideline. Grab made by Scotty Anderson, who gets out of bounds near the first down marker. 17 seconds left in the game. Down to DJ Johnson.
Hey, guys, I just overheard Johnny Morton on the sideline saying that his body is completely beat up. He can barely bend his right knee, and he had ice on his left elbow. So his body's in bad shape right now, but he said, I can't come out. This is the time of game they need me, and there's no one else to replace me at this point. So we'll see how he fares in this series. Back up to you, Kurt.
All right, not to belabor the point, but with the injuries, only 3 receivers available right now. And you see Mike McMahon, the quarterback, now in the wide receiver. He's in the slot.
That's how depleted they are. McMahon's got to run patterns. And Batch, of course, goes the other way.
Lamont Warren makes the catch for the first down, steps out of bounds right at midfield. 11 seconds to go.
Let's check out how Mike McMahon, I mean, we know he's got good feet. Let's see what kind of patterns he runs. Little post. Hey, he was open. Give me the ball. But, you know, with 11 seconds left, I think he got one more shot to the sidelines. Try and get it just a little bit closer, and then you take your prayer. And Batch has to tell McMahon which way he's got to go, and he ends up out here.
11 seconds left. Back from the shotgun. High snap, but he gets it. A lot of time towards the end zone. Batted around, incomplete. Kwame Lassiter knocked it down, intended for Scotty Anderson, and there's still 2 ticks to go.
So the Lions take the shot right there, and then that's what they've got left. I mean, that's what you've got left. You got one more, hit your knees, and let it fly.
Kwame Lassiter, who has 2 interceptions, had a tip on the 3rd interception here that was run back for a touchdown by Fred Wakefield. Has really been the guy to stand up for the Arizona defense here in the 4th quarter.
He's their playmaker. There's no doubt about it.
Final play of the ball game, or at least regulation, from the 50-yard line. Batch with time, going for it all. And it's out of bounds, incomplete. Arizona hangs on for the win. The Detroit Lions came into the fourth quarter with a 31-21 lead. Arizona struck for 24 consecutive points. The Lions got it back to within a touchdown, but they fall to 0-9 on the season, losing today 45-38. Arizona now 3-6.
And this is the one that I think is going to hurt them. I mean, they were in control at the start of that fourth quarter with a 10-point lead, and then it just seemed to all fall apart for them. It's just a lack of confidence, lack of an ability and a belief to close.
Well, this game was tied at 14 points at halftime, and in the second half, the Lions came out and got a touchdown run by Lamont Warren to go up by 7. Plumbers and Sanders hooked up for 68 yards, scored a tie at 21. But the Lions came back, took a 10-point lead, and that's when it all started to fall apart. There's Fred Wakefield with the touchdown on the 20-yard interception return. Kwame Lassiter with one of his 2 picks. And Dave McGinnis and the Arizona Cardinals walk off with their 3rd victory of the season.
And McGinnis' team goes to 3-6. They talked about the season being in 2 halves and wanted to start the second half, you know, on a positive note. They do so, and they still have a chance to maybe make some noise in that division. I mean, they're 3 games behind the Eagles with 7 to go, and so and they still get to play teams within that division. They still have a chance maybe to at least fight for a wild card. For Detroit, boy, this is a tough one. This is going to be a long trip back to the Motor City, where you're going to have to figure out, you know, where are we now, and where are we going to go, and what's going to happen.
Well, there you see the standings in the NFC East. Washington just won, so Washington now 4-5 on the season. Arizona goes to 3-6, and Detroit, despite putting up nearly 500 yards of offense today, loses 45-38. We'll be back to wrap things up from 10 feet right after this.
This way.